प्राणश्चक्षुश्रोत्रमथो बलमिन्द्रियाणि च सर्वाणि सर्वं ब्रह्मोपनिषदं माहं ब्रह्म निराकुर्यां मा ब्रह्म निराकरोत् अनिराकरणमस्तु अनिराकरणमे अस्तु तदात्मनि निरतेय उपनिषत्सु धर्मास्ते मयि सन्तु ते मयि सन्तु. Namaste everyone and welcome back to Upanishad. Today is part 4 of Upanishad. We will be dwelling on the section 3 in your book. So we are resuming classes and every Sunday we will have this live streaming. Now in today's class the format is that of a story. But the story is very, very profound. Everything about Upanishad is very profound. It is direct knowledge actually. So it requires a kind of background to understand this story and the sheer profundity of it, what they are trying to tell us through the medium of the story. So we will discuss a few important concepts on life and consciousness. See, we use these words glibly. What is life? Life is about living, this is what we would say. But you know, the source of what we are calling life has been researched into very deeply in these Upanishads. And then, what is the life of that life? What is the source of our life energy itself? This also has been researched. And they arrived at answers which are really amazing. They tell us that, you see, life, prana, is the truth, and the source of this life energy, which is consciousness, Brahman, that is the truth of truth. Prana is Satyam and Brahman is Satyasya Satyam. That is the source of life. So let us be very clear when we use the word life. Life is the manifestation of life energy, vital energy in your system. It is your vitality which gives you your experience of life, isn't it? The fact that our senses are functioning, the eyes are receiving impressions of objects, visual impressions, the ear is hearing sounds, and the nose is smelling, getting all the smells that are around us. The tongue is used to taste, to speak, the sense of touch, all these jnanendriyas they are called. They are bringing us impressions from the outer world and that is being processed in the mind, whose physical template is the brain, and we are getting knowledge of the external world. We are experiencing the external world, as it were. These words, knowledge, experience, these are used synonymously in this literature many times. So they are actually trying to see how you are seeing the external world, how it impacts you, and what are the factors involved. So this is how we get knowledge through the senses. Then there is this huge world of our mind. The mind processes this knowledge, it compares it with knowledge it already has, it puts certain things into memory, certain things it blocks off, it forgets, and the mind is a great processor. Through recognition, it understands and it also interprets. So then we have new knowledge, we have connections in knowledge. So using the senses and the mind, this equipment interprets the external world. Now, what is the power supply for all this? See, even if a computer has to work, the actual thing is the power supply, isn't it? If there's no power, we were struggling with power here some time back. So then nothing can work. So also that which activates your senses and mind is your vital energy. In fact, everything, every movement of the senses, of your motor organs, of your entire body, and the thoughts of your mind, your emotions, your will, everything is activated, empowered from within by your vital energy, vitality, what is called pran. It is also called pranic energy or life energy. Now this word pran, you must understand the sheer significance of this. Actually speaking, because you are functioning through that energy, you don't recognize it, because it is only when there is a stop in the normal flow of this energy that you recognize its presence. Like for example, when you have a fever and you are down, then you understand how poor your vitality is. You don't feel good, you don't feel strong, and there is no aliveness about you, you are drooping. So then you understand that yes, there is some energy in me which is responsible for normal life activity. So pranic energy also can be reduced, increased, it can be honed, or it can be blotted out. So when this pranic energy leaves the body, then it is called death. When the pranic energy is functioning in full form, then it's called life. So this is how our ancients understood the human system, how it is functioning. This understanding this pran becomes vital to understanding the knowledge which the Upanishads are giving us. Because what is the way to understanding awareness? If you are not alive from within, awareness will mean nothing to you, actually speaking. You will only think of, well, awareness of what? Awareness of objects. No, we are not talking about awareness of something. We are talking about awareness in itself. When you are at the peak of your aliveness, you feel most intensely aware. Check this out and see if this is true or not. So there is a function between your vitality and awareness, what we call pure awareness, the Atman. If your vital energy is functioning in a steady, very, very balanced manner, in a controlled way, in a harmonious fashion in your system, you will be intensely alive and hence acutely aware by yourself, not due to the objects around you, not due to your sensations, not due to anything which stimulates you. By yourself you will feel intensely aware. So this state is required to make this inquiry and study and to experience the feel of pure awareness. So that is why handling our vitality properly, our life energies properly, becomes very important in the spiritual life. If you want to experience the truth of these scriptures firsthand, so you see, this is what the yogi does. Then he will naturally ensure the harmonious flow of vital energy in his system. That important is pranic energy. That's why it is called satyam. And in fact, this is all that people know of. They feel a sense of vitality and they feel mind functioning. More than this, they don't feel anything usually. But if these things are sharpened and made to flow in a particular way, then you will understand pure awareness unfolds in your own system as a result of this. So that is why that is satyasya satyam. It is the truth of this truth. And the experience of pure awareness is possible for a trained human system. So handling vital energy becomes paramount. See, essentially sadhana, this is what it is about. Whatever your form of sadhana, whether it is pranayam, whether it is chanting a mantra, whether it is doing puja, worship, whether it is meditation, whether it is some other form of practice, whatever it is, aren't you using your senses, your motor organs, your mind? So all of these are only expressing that vital energy. It is vital energy which takes the form of all these energies which make your system function. And as a result, your sadhana reaches its fruition. So remember this, vitality in your system can be tracked, it can be guided, it can be controlled, it can be made more and more harmonious. And this is what the spiritual life is essentially about. Every system of philosophy, every system of thought which has explored the spiritual realm has stabilized this initially. That is why yoga, you will find that term even in the Upanishads. Don't think yoga began with Patanjali Yoga Sutras. Patanjali only codified, in a way reformulated the knowledge already available at that time and put it in sutrakar. Sutra actually literally means a thread, a connection between the available knowledge. But the system itself flourished much before that. And even in the Upanishads you will find, in fact in today's story you will find it, which we are going to discuss. There is this emphasis on first attaining a particular level of inner harmony, inner stillness, to be able to make this inquiry effective. The inquiry about the nature of Brahman, the ultimate truth of the universe. So that is why I am dwelling on this. Sadhana is important. Don't think the insight is generated just like that. A certain amount of training of the body-mind complex is important. In the modern world, this becomes all the more important because our senses are carried away by so many things, so many unnecessary things, and the mind is constantly dwelling on a whole lot of thoughts which are also unnecessary. We are overthinking, overreacting, we are impulsive by nature. So all these things, unless they are corrected to a certain extent, this inquiry, the intense research which the Upanishads are doing in the finding of the Atman, that will not come to full fruition. So that is why this initial training is very important. There is a story connected with this. It comes even in the Prashnopanishad. So this story is indicative of what we are discussing here. It seems once in the Upanishad it is put like this, that once Bhargava, a rishi, he asked his teacher that what is the force that holds this body together and makes it function? What is the actual energy which does this? And then the teacher tells him, you see, all of your senses and your mind, they are only expressing the vital energy, the prana force within you. So then the teacher tells him a story. It so happened that, once these senses started quarreling. The eyes said, the Jnanendriyas, the 5 senses. So the organs for that are the eyes, the ears, the nose, the tongue and the skin. So all of these give us the experiences of life. So these organs started quarreling once. The eyes said, oh, I am indispensable to the human body. If I leave, there is nothing. Then, the other organs, the life energy, all of them said, no, it's not so. If you leave the body, the person will become blind, that is all. But he does not die. So it seems the organs of eyes shut down for some time. And indeed, the person actually became blind, but life continued. So then the eyes realized that they are not absolutely indispensable to life, but they give a beautiful experience of life. Then the ears also thought they were very superior. So they also threatened, if we leave the body, what is there? So the other organ said, leave and see. And then the ears shut down, so the man became deaf. But life continued. And so also the sense of smell, it shut down just to show its importance. But then the man continued living without getting a sense of smell. So also the tongue, the sense of taste was lost, that is all. And the skin, the sense of touch was lost, that is all. But life continued. So then the vital energy, the life energy in the system, it said, if I move out of the body, none of you can hold your respective places. All of you will move. All of you will move out of the body. And it made a way to move out, as it were. And then all the senses were pulled along with it. The story goes like that. And then they all started screaming. And so vital energy came and settled back in the body, and all of the senses got their respective places in the body. So then they all started praising prana. They said, indeed, if you leave the body, there is nothing but only death. And it is only due to your presence that we are all present where we are and functioning. So indeed, you are the force behind this universe, you are the force behind the human system, and you are the one who is fit to be worshipped. So in a way, the story is trying to tell us the importance of vitality, the vital energy that is functioning in us. Now, why am I telling you this story is, it is in some way connected to the main story of the Upanishad, which we will go into, which is a story about the heart of this vitality itself. The heart of this vitality itself is what? It is consciousness. See, unless you have a conscious experience, you are not going to have any knowledge or experience of the outer world. And the heart of that conscious experience, which is consciousness, that is the actual, you can say, soul of the vital energy. It is the core truth about what you are feeling as vitality. The difference between life and consciousness is when that supreme consciousness manifests through this system, then you call it life. Through the vital energy, it manifests. So, just like how the senses are instruments of the body for perception, the motor organs are the instruments of the body for action. So also the vital energy is the instrument for the soul, as it were, to activate these, the body-mind complex. So if this vitality is flowing harmoniously, you can be sure that awareness will unfold in the system by itself. So that is the sheer importance of understanding how this system is functioning. See, in our scriptures, in the different systems of yoga, they have invented so many techniques to stabilize this within ourselves. And in fact, so many times you will find the emphasis put on that for this simple reason that you must bring your body and mind to a certain level of steadiness in order to make this research possible. When we ignore this and just try to think and rationalize and try to discover the Atman, see how far you can go, try with your intelligence and see how far you can go, and then you will understand the importance of what we are discussing here. Now, when in the Kena Upanishad, as you know, we have been discussing about the nature of Brahman, pure consciousness in itself. Naturally, the question arises that how do we know this? How do we know this? If life is a manifestation of that consciousness through this equipment and we are that life, then how do I know that consciousness? The Upanishad will tell you, no. You are not this vital energy. You are actually the Atman. You are Brahman itself, functioning through this instrumentation. So life is a manifestation of consciousness through this equipment. We need all this wiring in order to function. It is really a wiring, it's a hardware through which you function, but you are actually the Atman. You are always that. See, this is the difference between the yogic system and the Vedanta. This is what I want you to understand. You are actually consciousness functioning through this body-mind complex. So don't restrict yourself just to the functioning of the vital energy. Regulate it because you require that for this search. That important it is. It is life, but behind this truth of life is the truth of consciousness. That is the very soul of this entire system. That's why it's called the soul, the Atman. So if you are able to harmonize this, you will be able to track that. And this story, which we will go into now, the story in the Kena Upanishad, is about this, that the actual source of this vital energy and all its functions through the senses, through the mind, is consciousness. It is the truth of Brahman, pure consciousness. You know, the importance being given to all this is that is the reason why there are so many systems of philosophy, so many techniques of yoga in Hinduism, because like for example, if you take Shaktism, the Shakta philosophy, it will tell you that this very vitality, it is the Vyashti aspect of the Divine Mother, and the Divine Mother herself is the cosmic aspect of Shakti. She is the cosmic vitality or energy, and the energy flowing in our system as vital energy, that is the Vyashti, the individualized aspect of that. So, and Shakti, Prakriti, she is the expression of Purusha. Purusha is pure consciousness. So, this is how the Sankhya worldview is. Both are real. But Vedanta will tell you, Vedanta goes straight to the heart of reality, which is Brahman. So, the Purusha idea itself has been developed and recognized as the actual soul of everything. So, then you step straight into Vedanta, and it will give you the idea that it is Brahman which ultimately activates your vitality to activate your entire system to function as it is functioning. So, this story is about that. We usually don't think like this. In fact, for most people, consciousness means nothing. Vital energy at least means something to them. So, that is why Sankhya tells you begin from where you understand. Harmonize this and you will get more and more knowledge of that. See, this entire practice is to be done in our own system, isn't it? We have to understand clearly what these things mean. So, for that, just do some form of practice and all this theory will become very clear to you by itself, and you will understand the place of every philosophy. Philosophies are not just thought constructs, but thought constructs born out of meditation. So, as the rishis understood each truth, the power of their understanding, the power of their intuition condensed into a philosophy. So, this is how the Indian philosophies were born, and hence we will also try to understand the Upanishads like this, not merely through thought but through sadhana. So, now we will go into the section 3 of the Kenopanishad. There you have this story which is going to tell you the primacy of Brahman, pure consciousness in your own system. The story begins as there's a kind of quarrel between the Devas and the Asuras. There are periodic fights between them, you see, and in this particular war, the Devas win. So, now yes, here I have to give you a distinction between what they mean by the Devas here. The gods, the G is small. Many people confuse this. It is not God, it is not Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara that they are talking about. They are talking about the gods with the small g, like Indra, Varuna, Vayu. All these gods are in charge of one divine office, one natural element. Like for example, Varuna is in charge of the waters, Agni is in charge of fire. So, they are in charge of each of the Pancha Mahabhutas. So, these are called the lesser gods with a small g. So, it seems these gods had a fight with the Asuras, and in this particular battle they won. Now, they were overjoyed and they were sort of so happy that for days together they were celebrating their victory. Now, this was then God, the Supreme Godhead, or here it is defined as Brahman. So, Brahman thought that, well, these gods need to be taught a lesson. What is the source of their action? They should know that, they should recognize that, and they must understand that they are only the instruments of that source. So, usually you know that this sense of doership comes to us naturally because we think, well, my hands and feet have done the thing, so I am the doer. But check and see who that I in you is. Prakritim yanti bhutani. In the Bhagavad Gita also this idea comes out so beautifully, that it is Prakriti, the supreme vital energy, the Shakti within you, who's responsible for it, and that the source of that itself is consciousness. So actually speaking, Brahman is doing everything, but you claim to be the doer, you claim to be the enjoyer of the fruits of your actions. So this is being pointed out here. The Devas are jubilant, but the victory is actually not theirs. The victory belongs to Brahman, but they don't know it. So the story will, I don't want to break the suspense of the story, so let me go into the text and just see this. Please go to section 3, the first mantra. Brahma devebhyo vijigye tasyaha brahmano vijaye deva amahiyanta ta aikshanta asmakamevayam vijayo asmakamevayam mahimeti. So let's go word by word. Brahmaha, Brahman of course, devebhya, for the gods, vijigye, he won their victory. Tasyaha, it was of course his victory, Brahmana Vijaye, it was Brahman's victory, but Deva Amahiyanta, but the gods took pride. Te Aikshanta, they thought, Asmakameva, it is, this victory is indeed ours. Ayam Vijayaha, this victory is indeed ours, they thought. Asmakam eva ayam mahima iti, this credit is ours indeed. Oh, we are so great, we are so mighty, all the valor and the credit is ours. This is what they thought. So you see, now check this out with our own life. Everything that happens in our mind, we attribute it to the I. Everything that the body does, we attribute it to I. Who's the I? Who's the I here? Then a certain haziness comes into our mind. Well, I the individual. Check and see who the I is. You will come to a position where you can say, well, a kind of attribute of the mind or a kind of reflected awareness, that is the I. But the Upanishads will say not just that much. There is something else, something behind that, behind the mind itself. That is you, and that is not apart from Brahman. So the actual doer of any action, physical or mental, is Brahman. But we keep on endlessly attributing things to ourselves because we have an assumed sense of identity. I had told you in many of the lectures, Vedanta is actually attacking your assumed, presumed sense of identity. If you have developed enough to willingly question it yourself, you will enter Vedanta directly. Many of us, you see, that's why philosophy at this level cannot be taught. I cannot ask you to ask the question, who am I, for yourself. It must arise. I have seen this in many young people. It happened to us also when we were young. These questions, the existential fact of life, should come so intensely into the human mind that this research, naturally you enter into this. It cannot be taught, it can only be transmitted, the intensity of this research. All spirituality is like that. You see, energy is like that, isn't it? Can you see energy? Can you see electricity? Any form of energy? Heat, light, all of these you can know by their transmission, isn't it? You cannot think about it, you cannot describe it. You know it, you can transmit it. Energy can neither be created nor destroyed. It can change from one form to another. It can only be known by its power, by its expression. And it can only be transmitted, it cannot be taught. So, this level of research also, you can only know it by yourself. At the most, these classes, these discussions can turn your mind towards thinking in this manner. But the essential research has to be done in your own system. Because your vitality, I can't even say your consciousness, but consciousness, that is verily you. And you must reach the source of your being, isn't it? What is the point in knowing everything in the universe, not knowing myself? What's the point? So that is why these are called existential questions. They are the bare facts of existence, and they should come. It's part and parcel of education, as you can see. They should come into every young mind. Once it comes, you will understand these texts much better, what they are trying to tell us. So you see, these gods also get pride. Just see this. So then why will not the human beings get? Many times we are swayed by pride and ego and too much of attribution of things to ourselves. So selfishness in various ways, by anger, greed, lust. So all these things keep the mind agitated, and see that you are not able to penetrate into this research. You will remain engaged with negative emotions and objects. So that is why this pride has to be removed. These tendencies have to be removed. This is what purification means. And then this inquiry and research become possible. So you see, Brahman himself thought that the victory that is mine, the devas are attributing it to themselves, so they need to be taught a lesson. I will just read the meaning of the mantra we just read. It was Brahman who won the war for the gods. It was his, Brahman's victory, in which the gods took pride. They thought this victory is ours indeed, and the credit is also ours. So then what happened? Tad aisham vijagnau tebhyoha pradurbabhuva tanna vyajanata kimidam yakshamiti. Tatha esham. So then, this false pride of the gods, Vijagnyau, they suddenly came to know, Tebhyoha Pradurbabhuva, for their sake appeared a sort of celestial being there. In Sanskrit it's called a yaksha. Something far superior to a mere human form, something shining, a luminous being appeared there. And Pradurbabhuva means appeared. Tat, seeing that, Kimidam, what is this? Idam yaksham, this divine figure, what is this? Iti na vyajanata. They did not know what it is. Iti na vyajanata. They did not realize who it is, but they saw a divine being. So the meaning of the mantra is, Brahman of course became aware of the false pride of the gods and appeared before them for their benefit in a divine form. Seeing that divine form, the gods did not know what it was. So just to arouse their curiosity and remove their pride and make them research into their own self, Brahman appeared to them in the form of a celestial being. Then what happened? Te agnim abruvan jataveda etad vijanihi kimetad yakshamiti tatheti. Te agni abruvan. So all the gods together told Agni, Jataveda, O Jataveda, means one who knows all creatures. Etad vijanihi, find out who this being is. See, look at him shining there, find out who he is. Kim etad yakshamiti, who is this divine being? Tatha iti. And Agni said, yes, it will be done. I will go and find out, don't worry. So, the translation of the mantra is, the god said to Agni, O Jataveda, all-knowing God, find out who this divine being is. And Agni replied, this will be done. So you see, Agni, with a lot of pride, he thought, oh, I'll find out what it is. And everybody knows me, because I am the all-knowing one, I am Jataveda. And I can burn down anything in this world. So what is this? I will just find out who he is. And he strove ahead. Then, now all the gods were standing at a distance, okay, puzzled as to who that celestial figure was. And Agni strode ahead and went to the Yaksha and stood in front of him. And then what did he say? Tadabhya dravat tamabhya vadad ko asiti agnirva ahamasmiti bravid jataveda va ahamasmiti. Tat, to him, to that divine being, abhyadravat went, Agni went, and tam abhyavadat, and he said to him, Ka asi iti, who are you? Abravit Agni, why aham asmi iti. I am Agni. I am indeed the fire god who burns down everything. Jataveda vai aham asmiti iti. I am the knower of all beings. I am not of the ordinary kind, you know. I am very capable. I am the great knower of everything and I can burn down everything in this world. But tell me, who are you? Now, when he spoke like this, evidently with a hint of pride, then, well, let's go to the next mantra. What happened? Tasmin stvai kim viryamityapidam sarvam daheyam yadidam prithivyamiti. Tasmin. So, to the one who is so distinguished, tvai, in you, kim viryamiti. What kind of power is this in you? Idam sarvam api daheyam. I can burn all this, you say. Indeed, prithivyam idam yat iti, whatever there is in the world. So the divine being asked Agni, what power is there in you? You who are such an important person who can burn down everything. And Agni replied, yes, indeed, I can burn everything in this world. The world exists because of me. See, he is already full of pride because they have been victorious over the Asuras. And then further he is saying, it all happened because of me. You know, I can do anything in this world. So you see, ordinarily speaking, even our minds behave like this. Check and see. Anything good happens, I attribute it to myself. Yeah, due to me, I had a role to play. See, development of a positive sense of individuality and ego is important to a certain age. Yes, but after your teenage years, you must be able to penetrate into the source of the ego. Otherwise, this kind of false pride, a sense of a very high sense of oneself, which actually looks very stupid, will prevail all through your life. So, you can meet people like these who are fundamentally egoless because true knowledge has dawned into them. So, this is the purpose why Brahman is telling Agni, yes, indeed you are so great, but you can do so many things. Because Agni was boastful, so Brahman also is speaking in that manner to him, yes, indeed you are truly great. Then what happened? Then Brahman said, well, listen to the mantra first. Tasmai trinam nidadhavetad daheti tadupapreyaya sarvajavena tanna shashaka dagdhum sa tata eva nivavrite naita dashakam vignatum yadetad yakshamiti. Tasmai, before him, trinam nidadadho. He placed a straw. Brahman, in the form of that celestial being, he placed a straw in front of Agni and said, Tad upapreyaya etad daha iti, tad etad daha iti, come on, please burn this straw for me. Tad upapreyaya Agni. So, at full speed, sarva javena is full speed, and upapreyaya is, it rushed, Agni rushed towards the straw. Tat na shashaka dagdhum, but he failed to burn it. See, he is not able to burn a bit of straw. Sa tata eva nivavrite, and thus Agni withdrew from the celestial being. Na etad ashakam vignatum. Naita dashakam vignatum. Which means, well, I have failed in this. I am not able to do it. Yat etad yakshamiti. So then Agni thought, who is this divine being? I cannot burn a bit of straw. I who burn down so many things. And I who am so powerful, I am not able to do this little small task which he has put before me. Who is this divine being? So then he started doubting, well, this is no ordinary being. Something is going on here. So then he comes back and tells the gods that I failed. The divine being gave me a certain task, but I was not able to do it. So then all these gods were, I am filling in the blank because the story suddenly jumps to Vayu. So all the gods were very puzzled And they thought, what is this? So then Vayu said, let me go and solve this issue. I am there, I can blow out anything in this world. So let me go and answer this. So Vayu went forward, and Agni was, his pride was hit sharply, and he quietly remained there, and he started telling the gods, no, it is something out of the ordinary, you do not know. So then Vayu went forward and he stood before the Yaksha, and then he introduced himself just like Agni. He said, but before he went, all the gods told him, oh Vayu, you please go and do this task, you are the Almighty One. So this mantra is actually describing that. See, it says, Atha Vayu Mabruvan, Vayo etad vijanihi, kimetad yakshamiti tatheti. The god said to Vayu, oh Vayu, you go. You are so powerful, go and find out who this divine being is. And Vayu said, it will be done. This will be done. So he went there, and then again the same thing is repeated. You see, tadabhya dravat, tamabhya vadat, ko asiti vayurva, ahamasmiti braveen matarishva va ahamasmiti iti. So tad abhyadravat, he went to the celestial being. Tam abhyavadat, Vayu asked him, ko asi iti, who are you? Abravit Vayu vai aham asmi iti. And he said, I am the great and powerful wind god, Vayu. Matarishva, I am Matarishva, one who moves in space. Vai aham asmi iti, that is verily me, the one who rules over this space, who can blow away anything in this world. That is verily me. So this is how again he introduced himself. Then what happened? Tasmin stvai kim viryamityapidam sarvamadadiyam yadidam prithivyamiti. Tasmin, to one who is so distinguished, kim viryamiti, what great power you have. The celestial being is telling Vayu, idam sarvam api adadiya. So you can blow everything away. Prithivyam idam yat iti. Whatever there is in this world you can blow away. What a powerful being you are. So the divine celestial being is again doing the same thing with Vayu, what he did with Agni. That indeed you are a very, very powerful person, but can you please do me this job? Blow away this bit of straw. So Vayu huffed and puffed and did all that he could, but the straw would not get blown away. He who creates all the hurricanes and thunderstorms and tsunamis, he could not blow away that bit of straw due to his pride. To crush his pride, Brahman enacted this. So we will stop here and go to your questions. The story will continue in the next class. Interesting questions are before me. So we will continue with the Upanishad in the next class. Let's go to the first question. Is the pranic energy connected to the soul or body? When we are ill, our energy level is low. How is this related to that? Yes, this is what I try to dwell upon today. So the prana within you, which signifies your life energy, that functions where it functions in your body. It gives you the energy in your system. It is the actual pranic flow determines the energy in your system. So when you are sick, when you are weak, then what happens? The flow of energy, and all cultures have this, they call it chi, they call it in different names, but they have this concept of vital energy because everybody who is meditative understands this. So this energy in our system, when it is lowered or not flowing harmoniously, when it is dissipated unnecessarily, you feel weak, you feel without strength. Like in the case of illness, even mental illness, when you have invested too much in wrong thought, wrong emotions, then also this happens, isn't it? You feel sick because your the harmonious flow of vital energy in your system has been removed. It is flowing disharmoniously. So this results in low energy levels and a depressed state of mind. Please see this. And when energy is flowing harmoniously, what happens? Your energy just gets, yes, you are full of energy then, pepped up as it were, and you will manifest a level of aliveness. You are not wasting energy in any way, and as a result of that you become deeply aware. So that is why vitality has to be maintained, vitality has to be directed. The entire system of yoga functions for this. Once you are in that, you are a yogi, you are in a state, in that state where the pranic energy is not disturbed for any reason whatsoever. You can concentrate on inquiry completely. So it's a stepping stone. That is why you see, first thing you do in your system is this. You regulate the flow of energy in your system. And you can apply any technique for that. That is why Vivekananda, he sort of classified the different methods into yogas, the 4 yogas. You do it through some pranayam, some exercise, some method of meditation, it will be called Raja Yoga. You do it through intellectual acumen, it is called Jnana Yoga. You do it through action, it is Karma Yoga. You do it through emotion, it is Bhakti Yoga. Use any yoga or use a combination of all these yogas. In fact, you will use only a combination because you have all these faculties. And as a result, what will happen? Vitality in your system will get regulated. You will naturally become alive and aware from within. More and more deeply conscious until you reach the state of pure consciousness. So that is why, remember, vitality is the mediator between your body and soul, the body-mind complex and the soul, the Atman. You have to function through it, no matter what type of a spiritual practitioner you are, that is the gate. Then the second question is, can we pray? Well, let me add one more point to this previous question. How do we regulate vital energy? So all these are the means, what we discussed, prayer, spiritual practice, all these are the means. But one of the most important means is purity of your personal life. I have always insisted on this in my talks. It is for this simple reason that your vitality has to be held at a particular level. If this level is maintained, naturally all these things become real to you. The inquiry, the search for the Atman, pure awareness, you have a sense of purity in your entire being. If this is compromised upon, other things will occupy your mind. You know, you will be bothered about all the different negativities in your mind. You are reactive by nature, you are impulsive by nature. You have negative emotions in your mind, the Shadripus will attack you. All these problems come. That is why Brahmacharya was always the standard for this inquiry, which means ensuring that your vital energy remains at a particular level. So if this is practiced, you will see all spiritual striving becomes easier. The second question is, can we pray to Bhagwan Sri Ramakrishna for the healing of chronic diseases? Well, why can you not pray? See, he is the nearest and dearest, isn't it? He is the God of our hearts. No matter who your chosen deity is, you can always tell him about your troubles, isn't it? You can always tell him to heal chronic diseases. Why should you not tell him? But remember, just the healing of some disease is not the goal of life, isn't it? But it is so very important for you to proceed with your sadhana, with your life. So you of course you can ask for it. Why should you not ask? And in his grace, he removes these obstacles also. Disease is a big obstacle to yoga. And divine grace, through divine grace, it can be removed. So you pray for it, but always remember that just this much is not the goal of your life. Getting the body in order so as to awaken the self. This is the goal of your life. So pray like that and you see how magically it will work for you. What is love according to Swamiji? He said in one of his poems, it is the essence of his life. Yes, it is the essence of your life too. It is the essence of every life, because love is the highest vibration of pranic energy, and the subtlest, and love is God. It is, if you try to understand it energy wise, it is the subtlest form of grace, it is the subtlest form of energy available to you, which is all transforming in effect. But you see, today by so many things go by the term love. I am talking of pure love, which has absolutely no selfishness in it. That is really the most subtlest aspect of your pranic energy. And once that is attained, you almost attain to the highest realization of God. But to attain that level of love, this liberating love, you require a lot of spiritual practice. Because today what people are calling love is just a little, hormonal sort of reaction to some stimulus. That is not called love. So unless all these things are transcended, you make peace with them and you come to the state of pure love, which is not apart from the state of pure awareness actually. Then only you will understand what Swamiji meant when he said, love is the essence of life, my life. Such people are capable of radiating a degree of love so intense that people are just transformed in their presence. So if you have to love, you must become capable of loving like that, isn't it? That is the very Chudant, the highest in love. In fact, the energy radiated by love, by the lover, is the highest, and it will transform anybody just like that. But love should be raised to that level. And if you are only talking of the compromises of a sensual life as love, then well, that is not at all love, isn't it? So first of all, build your life. This is what I would say before you turn to abstract ideas like love. Build your life. Build a great life, an inner life which will always keep you balanced and peaceful and deeply alive from within, and you will naturally understand how love is built up. And then you will also understand that love can actually only be given to God. Everybody else is changing. Every soul is a soul in undergoing evolution, isn't it? So everybody is changing. So then where will you give this glorious love of your heart? You are meant for God. The human soul is meant for the divine. When you understand that, your love alone is enough to take you there to the Supreme. There is nothing higher than love. And that is in fact, Jnana and whatever these practices, yoga, everything is meant to reach that culmination of pure love. So it is to be done steadily through practice, spiritual practice. And concluding that what little affection, emotion you feel is already love, don't do that. First build your life and you will understand love better and better. Then you will understand Swamiji, what he was. So the next question is, you always speak about getting established in yoga. How exactly is it done? Yes, when I speak of getting established in yoga, what I mean to say is reaching a state of equanimity within yourself which keeps you calm and balanced at all times, peaceful at all times, and proportionately you respond to your circumstances outside, not improportionately, because you are in a state of such calm, such balance within yourself, that you give things the importance they deserve, you pay attention to things which are deserving, and you are able to respond appropriately to every situation, to every action, to every emotion. So then you will naturally become a very balanced person, because you have attained to equanimity within yourself first. Because you, please remember this, you cannot control outer situations the way you want them. Can you? Can anybody do that? Tell me. You cannot control the family members in your house. Can you do that? Nobody can do that. You cannot control another mind, but you can control your mind. And through the power gained by controlling that, you can affect other minds positively. So this is what I mean. Unless you are established in yoga, you will not be able to do this. For one who is established in yoga, a deep sense of serenity prevails. And as a result of that, because he radiates that, it affects other minds also around him. So this positive change you can bring about if you get established in yoga and not otherwise. That is why I always insist on self-development. Isn't it? Self-development, self-management, self-discovery. So why are we insisting on that? So that you live a fully sane and goal-oriented life, not frittering away your energies unnecessarily and getting bogged down by negativities. During this COVID crisis, so many people suffer from so much of negativity because of the things happening around us. It's only natural. But if the power of yoga is there, you will remain balanced in all circumstances. You will know how to think. I'm sure all of you have seen the positive thinking video. You will know how to think in any circumstance. And that is why self-knowledge was given the highest priority in our culture. Isn't it? Through so many ways, through scriptural stories, even stories in the Puranas. You remember the story of Ganesh? Once there was a conversation going on in Kailash where Shiva and Parvati told their sons, well, let us see who amongst you will circumambulate the whole universe 3 times and come first. And they had ready a gift, a pearl necklace. And Kartikeya, he had his peacock as his vahan, so he at once got on his peacock and fled. So he was very fast that way, he was very strong and fast, and so he first started, while Ganesha did not move at all. So they are the 2 sons of Shiva and Parvati, so the parents were very concerned, and they told him, Parvati told him, don't you want to try? You go, your brother has gone ahead of you. You quickly go, his vahan is the rat. So how slowly he would move. So he said, well, don't worry, I am going to win this. And then they thought, what is he saying? So what did Ganesha do? Kartikeya finished 1 round, 1 pradakshin, and then he went on the 2nd round, and Ganesh is still right there in Kailash. Then Parvati is telling him, go my son, try, at least try. And then when Kartikeya was on his 3rd round, Ganesha, all he did was, he circumambulated his parents 3 times. Why? They represent Shiva and Shakti. Shankara, Shiva represents the self. Mother represents the vitality, vital energy. So when you circumambulate them, you circumambulate the whole universe. The whole universe is only known through the self, through the functioning of the vital energy, isn't it? So when you circumambulate the source, you circumambulate everything. And he received the pearl necklace. So what is this story from the Puranas trying to tell us? First know the self. First know how your system is functioning, and you will get the prize for it. What is the point in knowing the whole universe without knowing who you are? That's the whole point. So if you have felt this intensely, you will try to get established in yoga. It is the sanest way to live and exist on this planet. Do it and see, and you will know its efficacy. You will function magically like a divine being on this very earth. So this completes the 4 questions. We will stop here today, and the live stream classes will continue. So you can join me next Sunday, same time, 11 to 12, for the next part of the Kenopanishad. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Peace, peace, peace.